second live Q&A with KP, a marine mammal trainer at the Vancouver Aquarium.
Yes, and
Hello. Sorry, I was in the middle of a coffee sip.
nicely timed.
So so I do have questions, KP, from the previous Q&A that we didn't really get around to.
Sure.
I wanted to give everybody that chance to get their questions in.
Yes,
Yeah.
But let's start off with the adamant question that's been popping up today. This question we did talk about last time, but people are really curious about it and they want to know about how do you determine if an otter is on birth control and when do you determine that they need to be neutered?
Yeah, so a couple of things about this. So, well, first of all this stuff is up to our vets and like the management. So I don't have any like personal control over this, but I can give you guys the reasoning behind it. Otters are, as you can see, all of our otters are rescued otters. Pretty much any sea otter in a facility in North America is a rescued sea otter. And so that sort of should give you the idea that there is a high need for this. Even Alaska Sea Life Center, you guys probably all know Lupin, and now I think there's two more up there.
yes.
So there is a high demand for homes for rescued sea otters. So there is absolutely like no reason to be breeding these animals. In fact, it's unethical because there's so few places for them in facilities that it is possible that if there were too many, we would have to start euthanizing those rescues instead of rescuing them.
Oh god.
Just because there's just so, I mean, you can already see we have 7. There's no room for more at the Vancouver Aquarium. So that's the main reason behind putting these animals on birth control. There's nothing to be gained by breeding them. We could not release those animals. So that's basically it's an ethical reason that that we do not breed these animals under human care, and it is in fact in our usually in our contract from that. For having these animals under our care is that we do not breed those animals. And then as far as whether you decide not to neuter them or to just put them on like the implant, that's totally like a management decision, and like Mac came to our facility neutered because Alaska had made that decision that they felt that was best for that animal. So it kind of, honestly, like, again, a lot of this is above my pay grade, right? Like, I don't get to make these kinds of decisions.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Rialto's case, when he was on birth control for a long period of time, not a long period of time, only about a year, it was still not bringing him down. We were still seeing a lot of like really aggressive, really like adult male behavior from him. And I think that was part of what went behind that decision. He was still breeding our females, even though he's not like capable of reproducing. He was still giving it his best shot, and that was causing them a lot of distress and things like that. Breeding in these animals is not a nice thing. Female sea otters do sometimes die during the process. So it's, this is sort of like we're starting out with like the hot and heavy, like here, like,
Yeah,
theaters are not always
we just
cute
run
and
straight into the
Yeah,
hard question.
sorry, welcome. Good morning, Meeper. So yeah, that's basically the reasoning behind why it was decided for Rialto to be neutered instead of be on the birth control. So yeah, so like I said, I don't control any of these decisions, but that's just kind of the process behind that. And neutering the males is like, it's very easy. Everybody does it to their dogs. I mean, it's really, it will make them live longer.
Yes.
And it will make them have like healthier, calmer lives.
Which I think you covered extensively in the last event or last AMA that we actually had, which is uploaded so you guys can view it. I'm not sure if you've uploaded it to your channel as well, KP and Soundbits. because it seems to be an ongoing question about this topic.
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
there
I
as
mean,
well.
it's a weird thing. Like even even humans sometimes who don't like neuter their dogs or their cats because they feel like they
Yes.
wouldn't want it done to themselves. I mean, this is part of like getting into a conversation about anthropomorphism and stuff like that. But
Yes, that's right.
it really
Yes.
is. I don't want to delve too far into it in case because you guys all want other questions answered.
Yeah.
But basically that's it really is. It's a totally safe thing. It really
Yes.
does help the animals lead happier, healthier lives. So
I think that's a running topic. I want to add to that is that we must separate the difference between a wild animal and humans. Similar to the notion where they get concerned when an otter gets wet when it rains, which was a long time ago, but we're thinking of ourselves in that situation, and here's an otter that's like, no, I'm fine. I'll swim through this quite well.
So
Yeah.
we have a follow up to that.
Yes.
To this whole discussion about neutering and birth control. The viewers wanted to know if Rialto's behavior has changed any since the.
Definitely. I mean, you can see him, or I can see him being like a lot calmer, and just a lot more relaxed. And he's and basically just he's gotten back to his normal self, except for just maybe being a little bit more chill is all.
Okay. Maybe we'll move on to a bit of a lighter question.
Does anyone want to know how cute Joey is?
Yeah, no, we had to start with heavy stuff. Now that everyone is awake, one of the cute questions, which I'm actually also very curious about, is how is Joey's pockets coming along? Is he using them yet, or are they still too small?
No, I actually think Joey does a really great job of using his pockets. Like more so, I think than a lot of the other otters at this age. I mean, sometimes it's something that takes them like even like up to a year to sort of like figure out.
Oh wow!
Joey has sorry, you were just like really loud in my ear for a second.
Sorry.
No, I had turned you up a little bit, but I meant to turn you up a little bit, but you turned up a lot. There we go. I'll turn you. So he he has a really awesome appetite. I don't know if you guys have noticed. The dude is an eater. So
yes.
I think that kind of helps. He's like highly motivated to like stuff his pockets with food and stuff. And obviously too, he's got all these really great toys. Like previous to Joey, we didn't really have these sort of pocket-sized toys that they now have that they can jam into their pockets and stuff. Most of it was like bigger balls and things like that. So he uses his pockets a lot, and it's something I've been surprised about for sure.
Well, that's nice to know. I will do a follow-up question to that, which has also just been DM'd. In respect to that, do you find that Joey is learning things quicker than the other otters have done previously? It's a worthy question, but is that happening?
Yeah. I mean, some things yes and some things no, right? So like it's like every otter has some things that they do better and some things that they don't do as well. I always compare it to like my brother and I growing up. Like he was always really, really good at math, and I just wasn't. And that doesn't mean that like math was just never my thing, and it didn't mean that I couldn't learn it, and I did. Like I took calculus and all that stuff, but he was just better at it, and that's just kind of what it is. And it's not like he's not smarter than me. I'm better at him at animal stuff. I mean, those types of things. So Joey is I think he's really, really good at like what we call like desensitization stuff. Basically the fact that he will let us essentially do anything. Like we haven't tried it in a while because we don't pick up the animals and stuff like that, but I fully think I could go in there and just scoop him right up and it would still be fine. And that's a really great it's a really great quality to have in an animal, because that's going to make things so easy when we do get to things like vaccinations or just basic body exams, like just really being able to like look at him and check him over and do those types of things, make it super easy on him. So that's something that I think Joey is ahead of the game on, for sure. Which I think is what you guys wanted to hear, that he's better than all the other otters.
Absolutely. Although I'm starting to become a bit biased between Joey and Katmai. I have a soft spot for both of them in that way. So
yeah. Well, Katmai's another smart cookie, man. She's got a lot of attitude.
Okay, so according to this question, it's actually a follow-up, but that people are actually asking about Taz, if Taz's training is on par with the rest of the adults.
Yeah, I mean, Taz has always been a very independent animal. So like even like that video with the Nat Geo channel or whatever that we did, that I think that you've posted in some things, is like you can see her being extremely independent. So she's just, like I said, it's just different, you know. She's still a very smart animal. We've seen her, you know, figure out how the locks work on the doors, those types of things. But she never wanted to be like touched. You know, Joey really seemed to like enjoy a lot of those, you know, neck scratches and just being around people and that close contact. And Taz was never like that. So even from the very beginning, she was like, "I'll groom myself, thank you. Please don't touch me." And you know, they just have different personalities, and so yeah, Taz is learning a lot too. But sometimes all it is we just have to figure out how to teach that animal. So it's the same as like when you had a really good teacher in school. You had teachers who would you know, take the time to personalize things for you and make sure it was working for you, and check in on you and those types of things, and could figure out, okay, this is how this student learns. And that's the same thing that we try to do. But you've also had bad teachers, right? And so that's kind of where, you know, where we take our inspiration from, is trying to be those good teachers who are looking at the animal going, okay, this animal learns in this particular way, so maybe I'm going to try something different than how I would train it with, say, Joey or other animals. So that's kind of like getting into like the training aspect of it. But yeah, Taz is learning lots of things. We just teach each animal in a different way depending on their personality.
Okay. Seems today we're going to have actually a lot of questions related to the actual otters in the pool themselves. But we'd love to know. Okay, there's one question here is, do they have different swimming styles? Like, this is actually a question I wanted to ask. It sort of relates to that. Like, would you be able to spot them in the water if they're all swimming around together? Because we have this debate on chat right now where we play Identify the Otter, especially when they're swimming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and that boils down to what I think is almost the easiest way to tell the otters apart, is their personalities. So, like, is the animal doing back dives? Well, then it's probably Mac.
Mac, yes.
Yeah, you know, and some of them have like different areas that they like to swim in more than others. So yeah, like oftentimes that is how we identify the animals, is by looking at their behavior more so than their actual appearance. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, by the way they swim, they absolutely do. We had an otter. Tanu used to swim in a very, of course she was very blonde, so you could also tell her apart from that. But she used to do like this like sort of head bobbing sort of motion when she was swimming, and it was very distinctive, and you could tell her apart like instantly from all the other otters. So yeah, that's absolutely a completely legitimate way to tell the otters apart.
Yes, because I can vouch for one thing. At night with the IR filter, they all become Katmai.
Oh yeah, I mean at nighttime it is very difficult, and especially with the boys like Mac and Rialto, I still have a hard time with, like, at nighttime when they're dry and fuzzy. It's difficult. It can be difficult. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
We have this. Okay, so these are actually two questions. I'm just going to combine them together because they're pretty similar, and it's basically about the personalities of the otters when they're younger, as opposed to them growing up, if it's pretty much the same, or have they changed in any way?
No, absolutely. I mean, and I find this with all young animals. I feel like they kind of grow into their personalities a little bit. So there are definitely changes, but I do think that that base stays pretty much the same. Of like like Joey, I think, is going to be a little bit like Mac, in that, you know, we can just do a lot of things with him, touching, like poking, prodding, and he's going to be like totally fine with those types of things. Is my prediction for him. But yeah, they do keep developing those personalities. So it's not like, you know, after 6 weeks, that's who this otter is for the rest of their lives, you know. And we have we have a
Yes.
role in modeling that as well. So like, you know, that's what we're trying to do with the animals is make really, really good, really comfortable animals. So sometimes even when we do crazy things where I don't know if you guys get to see some of this, but when we walk animals by the lower windows, or when we bring like balls and like, you know, do
Yes.
crazy things with them, do enrichment and stuff like that, like oh, it looks like it's feeding time. Snacks, nice. But like all those things, and doing different things with the animals is designed at making them, molding them into like animals that are very good in a wide variety of situations. So that's something that we try to do with all these guys. It also makes it like less stressful and more fun for them whenever we do have things that happen, crazy things. That Katmai's got a piece of the habitat again, like, you know, that could be something that would cause the animals to be like, what is going on? But because because it happens all the time, and because we're always doing like different things and we're always skating
Yes.
them out and stuff like that, for them, these types of things are routine, and so they don't feel any stress about any of those situations or anything like that. And you know, it helps too when we have guests, because guests are always doing crazy things, opening umbrellas and stuff like that. And so yeah, so we can mold some of that, but their personalities do absolutely change and will continue to change, you know, kind of just like ours do. But I think that they've
Yes.
got like that building block structure that is gonna mostly, you know, mostly be the same for the rest of their lives. So
Their
yeah.
core values almost, if
Yeah,
you can put it that
exactly.
way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just want to quickly mention before we continue, because I've noticed a lot of people saying they either can't hear myself or hear one of you two or hear all at all. I can honestly tell you we're very loud with each other at the moment. So also check your settings on your guys' side under Discord just to make sure it's not something on your side. Because
Yeah, I don't know too if you can, because I had to change your
I almost blew
volume
your
anyway.
eardrums out.
Yeah, so if you right click on the person's name, you can adjust their volume
Yes,
to you
I was just about to.
as
Yes,
well.
I was about to
Um,
mention that. Yeah, so they
yeah.
can actually, you can change the volume of how we're coming through.
Yes.
Okay, next question is this is on a relationships side, and very, very much the pool related is, do the otters in any some way miss Tanu at all? Or do they have
This is
that
a
sort
good
of
question.
relationship? Yeah.
Yeah, so several of them never really knew Tanu, but
Yes.
Do the animals miss each other? So this can vary greatly. Um, like, and you know, it's so hard too, because we don't here's some of that great descents training that you're seeing Sean doing. Sorry, I just like, I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, good demonstration. But yeah, so sometimes, so at this point in time, Tanu's been gone for a long time. I do not think that the otters think about her at all. Like, I just don't think that that's the way that otter brains necessarily work. Like, they've got so much on the go. Like, I think that's a very human thing to like think back. And you know, I'm not sure that that's the way that works for them. But they definitely, when an animal does pass away, they definitely do notice a difference. And
Yes.
whether that's, you know, I mean, some animals might not have liked Tanu.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
true.
so like there is that, you know. I mean, we like to think that they, you know, that they behave like humans in this way, but
Yeah.
otter social structure is very different. And males are not usually involved in it too much at all. So so yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. They definitely, there is usually a behavior change when an animal is gone,
Yeah.
but it usually doesn't last very long, and usually the animals pretty much pretend like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not the answer that everybody's looking for, but it also has to do with the fact that a lot of times, like Tanu had cancer for a while, and so we were working on things with her. So she was actually separate from the animals
From
a
quite
great
yes.
deal of the time. So it's not really like it was a very abrupt thing. The animals also didn't get to see her pass away. So like it's one of those things. It's like tricky, you know. I mean, we shuffle animals around all the time. It's not like they thought that, you know, Rialto had died when he was in the back. You know, they were just like living on with their little otter lives, and then, oh hey, Rialto's back. You know, cool, whatever. Like, you know,
Yes.
so yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I do think that their behavior can change, and but in general, I think the trainers miss Tanu
Yeah.
more than the otters do.
Absolutely. And it boils down to that human psychology thing of even with us, we do actually get over passings or death quite easily, but we choose to remind ourselves with material attachments and photos and things like that. But in all retrospect, we would, if we were in the jungle, we would most likely forget eventually as well.
Yeah, and
it's a horrible
it
thing
is
to
that.
say, but it's
No, I mean, it's that anthropomorphism. I mean, and human brains are just built differently.
Yeah.
You know, we're a very social animal
Absolutely.
as humans, and sea otters are typically. You know, we've got a little bit of an artificial situation here at the aquarium. Like I had somebody also ask about Mac's paternal instincts, and I was trying to explain there are no paternal instincts because sea otters have zero paternal like roles with their pups. So while the moms are very maternal, Mac is just a nice guy. Like it's not really like because he'd never have any role in rearing of a pup outside of this. So yeah, it's this is like a you know, a bigger anthropomorphism
yes, absolutely.
discussion, which is something that we always try, you know, as trainers too. We sometimes get on our high, oh, we can't anthropomorphize. Well, we do it all the time with the animals.
Yes,
Like, you know,
it's very
we're always
easy
saying,
to
oh,
yeah.
Yeah, what do you think? It's easier said than done. But yeah, it is something that we have to keep in mind when talking about the animals is they're not like little furry humans.
Yes, absolutely.
Their brains are different, and they operate in different ways than
But I
than
think
humans do.
I think we just scored points with about half of the Wiggler Nation that you called Mac a nice guy. Just
He
based
is.
on
He's
that.
a nice guy. He's just a nice guy.
Okay, we had two questions actually that popped up. Was what motivates the otters to raft, and like
Yeah.
around what age does it actually start?
Yeah, so rafting, I think, is a little bit more of a learned behavior. So the reason that sea otters raft is that out in the ocean, it's seen between moms and pups or groups of females. So out in the ocean, you tend to get different types of groupings of these guys. So if you do see otters in a group, they are more likely juvenile males or groups of mothers that have young. So the reason that they raft is because if you just fell asleep next to your cute little fuzzy baby and woke up 2 hours later with the currents of the ocean, that pup would likely be far, far away from you, and you guys would have no idea where you are. So, so the rafting is for keeping either moms and pups together, keeping groups of animals together, or sometimes they will do the same behavior but with like strands of kelp. So if they're like, I want to sleep but I want to stay right in this area, I'm just going to hold on to this piece of kelp because it's anchored to the ocean floor.
Yes.
So that is I think it's more of a learned behavior. We don't see it happen a lot with our animals. And Katmai is the big instigator of this, and I think this is because she grew up with Tanu and Milo and Elfin, and those Tanu was a big rafter, like big into rafting. And so she kind of, if you look at like, if you, well, now it might be different. Now, if you Google Vancouver Aquarium Sea Otter, you'll probably see stuff about Joey. But it used to be that the very famous otters at the aquarium were Tanu and Milo for rafting. They were just known rafters. And so if you Google like Vancouver Aquarium sea otters holding paws or something like that, you'll likely see like two blonder, older otters, and
Yes.
that's usually either Nyack and Milo. Again, I'm spouting off animals that you guys probably have no idea who they are, or Tanu and Milo. And so I think Katmai learned it from Tanu, and now Katmai
Was
is
passed
definitely
down.
trying to teach it to all the other otters. But it isn't a normal behavior for adult male sea otters to do. So
So is the males. It seems to be a going rate.
I know. The males are trouble. The males are trouble, like for sure. Yeah, so it's not a normal behavior for them, so that's probably why we don't see it that much. We have a lot of males.
Yes.
And like I said, Taz too is like, she's like one of those otters that's like enjoys her personal space bubble. So maybe she isn't super into it either. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the reason why it hasn't really been passed on, but you can see Katmai trying.
Yes.
But I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna be successful. I mean, she's got Hardy into it a little bit, but we'll see what happens.
Yes, which that was a blessing. My heart nearly exploded. I didn't expect to see that. I think I'll send a clip for analyzing it. The one clip where Taz seemed to want to raft with Joey, and Joey basically gave her the flipper.
Yeah,
That was the cutest clip.
I mean, yeah, it's totally possible. I mean, and who knows what's in their head about it. Like, I mean, like I said too, Joey might not know what in the world.
Yes.
Like,
it's like, stop reaching out for me again.
Yeah, he's like, hey, stop it, stop touching me. I'm trying to sleep, you know. And Joey's preoccupied too, sucking on his.
Yes, he was sucking on his paw at the
moment.
moment. Yeah.
He's like, I've got other things that I'm doing, you know. So yeah, but even like the kelp in this exhibit right now, like that's what it's designed to do. Like if they want to sit there and hold on to something, and they do, you can see they want part of it in the water, like then they can sit there and sleep like that. But yeah, that's basically the idea behind rafting. But I do think it's a little bit more of a learned behavior, as I'm seeing that, you know, a lot of the animals don't really do it that much and haven't had the opportunity to learn it. So.
Okay, so that's a very. I'll actually like that sort of that. Keep those kind of questions coming, because it's related to the pool, but we're also learning a lot about what's actually happening with our little otters.
There are actually 2 more questions that popped up. So the next one is, what has Joey's presence changed in the dynamic of the otter pack?
So Joey's, let's see. I mean, he's integrated really nicely into the group. Like, I don't know that we've been lucky so far. One of the things we were concerned about, and one of the reasons, and I think we touched a little bit on this last time, but one of the reasons Katmai was kind of late for the females to be introduced to Joey, is that she can be very possessive over the new kids. So like, she's just got very strong, it seems like, motherly instincts. So like, to the point where she won't even like let them like come out of the pool, or won't let us look at them and stuff like that. So that's the reason she was kind of late to the game. So we were worried about that, but we haven't really seen any of that yet, which is nice.
Oh, okay.
I think Joey has just like, he just kind of like fit right in. Like, I haven't really seen too much in the way of like him changing things too crazily for people. We did have like, whenever he gets very, very vocal, we do have to watch the other otters, because just like the humans, like the other otters start to get irritated with him really quickly. They're like, dude, you are screaming way too much. So so that's something that we do watch. If he's being really, really loud, well, we need to figure out why he's being really, really loud, and it's usually because he wants more snacks for Jojo.
Yes.
But we also have to keep an eye on the other otters, and be mindful that sometimes they might need a baby break. So we'll sometimes swap out animals, just be like, oh, okay, Mac looks like he's fed up. Let's go ahead and give him a day or two to kind of chill out. But other than that, I mean, he's just like, just fit right in. All the other otters seem to accept him pretty easily, and everything's just kind of normal now.
Okay.
Which is nice.
I think we've all accepted Joey to just be like a mini Mac.
Yeah.
Basically, like little brother situation for sure.
Uh,
Just
oh,
other
go ahead.
question is, do you think Joey will be introduced to Hardy or Rialto first?
Good question. Uh, Again, don't like write this down or anything, but I think probably Rialto. Lately Rialto's been very calm, nice and relaxed, like not showing a lot of those like macho otter
Manly
behaviors.
Yes, the
Rialto.
manly
Yeah.
Rialto.
Yeah. So and Hardy has been a little bit more like still still pretty like into the females and the breeding situation and stuff like that. So so I would guess Rialto. But I don't know for certain. So that's a good question, and a lot of it changes on a day-to-day basis. It might be tomorrow that Rialto starts acting up, and
Yes.
then we gotta change our plan, and now it's Hardy. But I hope very soon that everybody will be able to be with everybody. It makes our lives so much easier. And it's really awesome for the animals too. Like changing up that social dynamic keeps
Yes.
things like always changing for them, which is really great for us. Yeah.
Yeah. So the follow up with that was that people wanted to know, like, does Joey's size matter before introducing him to one of the other males?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's one of the very first things that we look at, even before introducing him to other females. Like, I think, the males are obviously dangerous, but the females can be very dangerous as well. So it's, sea otters are just, they're while cute, they are not always super nice animals. So they are closely related to like badgers and wolverines. Their size absolutely matters. We have like benchmarks that we like them to meet. Um, Joey was a little heavier at like a younger age, so he got to meet some of the animals at maybe a little bit younger than when Taz did. But yeah, we look at their weight and still look at their weight, and it's a and watching Joey interact with the other animals and seeing how he gets out of this headlock by Mac is is something that we look for when when thinking about introducing him to the other males. But yeah, we usually look at them to be around like the 11, 12 kilos before we even think about really introducing them to other animals. Just yeah, size does matter. I mean, like the other animals are less likely to pick on a big otter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Let's
Go
see
ahead.
here. There's so many actually questions here. I'm so glad everyone's
Yeah.
interacting. But I want to try and keep it to the so we can group them. We mentioned the meeping and sort of that. I know this has been covered before, but we're just going to cover it here. Is what sort of vocalizations do the otters make apart from meeping? And in relation, when does the meeping generally end?
yeah, when does it stop?
Yeah, when?
So aside from baby otters, adult otters typically make no noises. Unless they are in like some extreme distress. So once they are adults, we almost never see any or hear, I should say, any kind of vocalizations. There are the odd animals. Elfin used to, while eating, kind of just go like the whole time while he was eating, and it was super cute. But that was just kind of, he's just kind of an outlier. Every once in a while we'll hear like Kunik like growl at things. It just kind of is like a low growl, but she has to be like really irritated for that to happen. So and as far as when does it stop, I don't know. I mean, every animal is different, but it's very strange with these guys. It's like I expect Joey to be done pretty much any time now, and a lot of that has to do with the other otters teaching him, like, this is not okay anymore.
Yes.
You have to stop. Like, you're screaming, that is enough. And they will. They'll go up to him and and grab him and maybe be a little bit rough with him if he's being too vocal, and he will learn like, okay, this isn't appropriate for my age anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean they have to teach each other, you know, and that's
Yes.
part of like getting Joey in with them is that they will learn from each other and so that's that'll be awesome to see. I can't wait for him to stop. But they all do. It's just the craziest thing. They'll just deadpan like stop one day. But outside of that, the only reason that otters vocalize is, you know, like I said, if they're in extreme distress, or you know, moms will vocalize to try to communicate with their pups too. So so you can see that out in the ocean. We obviously don't have any of that dynamic at the aquarium, but yeah, I mean, that's vocalization in these guys is typically they make no noises at all, and it's great. It's beautiful. Silence. It's golden.
Sounds like a very personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, as you guys are watching this, you don't have to listen to him scream day in and day out.
It's
you know,
like babysitting,
cute little, like meeping is like cute. Like I can get on board with it. I posted
that
a
whistling
thing on my Instagram of like him just being a very quiet vocalizations. This is fine, but like the full throated, like everything you have screams are just, they're not fun. They're not fun.
Especially in close quarters.
Yeah. Oh, like when we used to have him in the shack and he was screaming, it's like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah.
I think us as the wigglers are exactly like when we visit our friends' children, or if we're uncles and aunts, we only have these kids for like an hour and we think they're so precious.
Exactly.
It's like you haven't been with them the whole day.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like the fed up and tired like mom. You guys are like the cool uncle just coming over to like give the kid ice cream and like hype him up before I have to try to put him to bed. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so some of the wigglers wanted to know about how. Oh, do trainers monitor their activities through the camera constantly? That the trainers react quite quickly when things seem to happen.
Yeah, so it is a tool for us that we have been using. So especially when Joey was younger and there was a little bit more cause for concern, we were definitely monitoring him like all the time on the cameras. And you know, honestly, like there's so much you can learn about your animals just from watching them, and it's not something that we get the opportunity to do. We also have outside of the cameras that you guys are watching, we have cameras on all the habitats. So we have security cameras on all the habitats. So I personally, like, I always have them all pulled up because there's just so much that you can learn about your animals just by watching what they're doing when you're not around. So yeah, so we absolutely monitor the camera footage. We're checking out things that are happening, especially since you know, the otters are always trying to do something, destroy something. So yeah, we try to be quick on the draw. Plus it's fun. It is fun for us to watch too. You know, I mean, like we spend so much of the day like running around, and we don't often get to sit and enjoy the animals. So I think there's an element of that too. Like I know for me, like I don't mind watching them every once in a while because like I don't get to do it all the time. You know, it's part of the job that I love, but you know, we're very busy. So yeah, it's we are watching, and we do try to be really quick and respond really quick. Our security also watches the animals all through the night. So we are 24/7 on call, and sometimes we get a call in the middle of the night. Hey, you have to go in. It looks like, you know, Katmai is at it again, you know, and stuff like that. That does happen. So, yeah.
Okay.
Katmai is just in the dark, scaling the walls.
Well, playing with equipment.
There's a lot of. I wish I could show you like all the modifications that have been made to the habitats specifically so Katmai can't climb out of them. Like it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yes, it's even become sort of a meme in our fan art. There's been recent comics posted there about Katmai's adventures, which is very, of course, again, to us, it's very cute.
Yeah. No, it's amusing. It's amusing. I just wish she'd like give it a rest every once in a while. You know, like, can we just chill out today? No, okay.
Okay, some lighter questions that have popped up is there's actually two questions. Is well, I'll put this in a more bigger phrasing. What do octopus feel like, and do they lose their baby teeth?
Yeah. So otter paws. I mean, honestly, guys, it does feel a lot like a dog's paw, you know?
Those beans.
Yeah, like little toe beans. And it's very so yeah, it's got that same like pad on it that you see on dog paws. And it feels a lot like that. And but then it's like very dexterous. Like I should um I should take a picture, or I have a Taslina paw print
Oh my gosh,
that
yes.
I could show you guys from maybe I'll grab it here in a second. But basically I could show you what their paws look like. Hey babe, do you want to grab me that? But anyway, so their paws are different looking, and they can actually grab things with them. So sometimes it's well, anyway, I'll get it later. It's just like a little, yeah, there it is. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are watching my stream or watching whatever stream, but anyway, I'll put it up, and we'll talk a little bit later about it on a YouTube video. But
Yes.
this is the little toe beans. So they are super cute, and they can move them. It's almost to the point where it looks like they have like thumbs when they're doing things, and they'll grab onto your paw. You've probably seen us do, or your paw, my paw, your hand too.
Yes.
You can we ask them for like paw presents and stuff like that, and they like grab onto you. Like it's really interesting, and you have to be careful with with things that you leave on the ground and stuff like that. They'll grab that stuff and rip it right out of your hand. So that's a little bit different than like dog paws, is that there's a lot of dexterousness there. I don't think dexterousness is a word, but
flexible.
we're going to use it in. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
So yeah, and as far as if they lose their baby teeth, yes, they do. I don't know exactly what age, but they do have baby teeth, and they do lose them and then grow in their nice new big girl and boy chompers. The otters always seem to be doing exactly what they should be, like, for this conversation. Like, we can see their teeth right now as they're like biting each other's necks. But yeah, so their baby teeth they do lose at some point.
They can secretly hear us. They are very in tune with what we're doing.
Yeah, they're like, we got you. Here
look,
go.
Here's my big teeth, my big bare teeth.
Yeah.
We had a question that popped up also, is who do you think is the funniest, or who makes a great duo, a great funny duo out of all the otters?
A great funny duo, like
yes, like
a pair,
like Starsky and Hutch type.
Oh, okay. I think Joey and Taz are pretty fun, being so young, and like the battle over the toys is always entertaining. I don't know, guys. I like all of them for a lot of different reasons. I love a good Kunik Mac combo. They've been together for forever, essentially. Rescued essentially together. And,
yes.
And raised together at the Alaska Sea Life Center. And their mutual love for buckets is adorable. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking for like a troublemaker twosome, it's probably like the Taz Joey combo. I think that they're kind of a funny match for each other.
Yes,
but yeah, that's an interesting question.
That is actually, thank you for that, because I've actually, just a side note, they've appeared more on the pup dates than any other otter. Like, they are constantly providing me content. I was actually, you actually stole my next question, because I was actually going to ask about Kunik and Mac's relationship, if they are somewhat closer than the other otters, considering they grew up together so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard again, because it's like the anthropomorphism
thing,
right? But I believe like they seem to have like a unique relationship. And it's maybe a little bit harder to see now that we have so many otters. But when there were just like 4 of them, and we would have them maybe apart for like a few hours or something like that, bringing them back together was always super cute and fun to watch. So they seem to definitely have a relationship to me. What that relationship is, I don't really, is hard to say, but it definitely seems to be something maybe just a little bit different than what they have with the other otters. For sure.
Maybe they're just more familiar with each other in a way. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a
it's
human
hard to say,
relationship.
but they definitely seem to seem to recognize each other. They definitely seem to enjoy each other's company. So
yes,
yeah.
We had a question about when the otters put food or toys on their tummies and they roll around, like how does it not fall off of them?
Yeah,
it something to do with their fur,
this is
or
kind of back to the pockets thing. So sea otters have pockets, and they're not like true like kangaroo pouches, but what it essentially stems from is their skin is actually only attached to their bodies in a few places. So like our skin is very attached to to the underlying tissues. Sea otters basically are wearing a giant fur coat. It's only attached like at the base of their neck, the base of their tail, just a few places. So it's very, very loose in a lot of areas. So they can use that to their advantage in a lot of ways, in grooming, but also in making those like big pockets underneath their armpits. And sometimes even from armpit to armpit, like otters will like stretch out their skin and they'll have like a full like fold, like almost like they're wearing like
folded
a
over
backwards.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. And so they can jam things in there. They can even like walk on land and still have this stuff in their pockets if they're especially talented.
Yes. Kunik comes to mind.
And so Kunik is very possessive over ice treats. So it tends to be the greedy ones tend to have the bigger pockets. But yeah, so that's how they roll around and keep things in there, is they're like actively jamming things into their armpit pockets, and then when they roll, they just kind of hold on to them and they stay in there. So those pockets are really important for the otters, because out in the ocean, they would dive down and they can't hold their breath for too terribly long. You're talking like 3 to 5 minutes probably if they're really trying. So they need to jam as much stuff into their pockets as they possibly can when they're on the bottom of the ocean. And then they come up to the surface and then they eat all that stuff, rinse and repeat the whole process. And when you have to eat a quarter of your body weight every single day, those pockets come in really handy. So.
Okay. Here's a little bit more of a sort of a meta question, actually. But I was actually gonna. This is sort of a one that's just popped up. Has the live stream affected you as the trainers, volunteers, and vet techs in your day-to-day work? Like, are you self-conscious about the cameras or not in that way?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely it definitely does affect us. There's definitely things that we are always thinking about when we do certain things. I mean, it's hard because we're not there explaining what we're doing, right? So something that we might do, like I can't even think of an example, but like we're just like, okay, like what are the meepers going to think about this, because we don't want you guys to to get the wrong ideas and for us to be doing things that maybe you might think are, sometimes people are like, oh, Kunik's being mean to Joey.
Yes.
Like, it's just normal otter behavior,
that
so
out of context. Yeah. Yes,
exactly. So we are conscious of the cameras. I think people are really conscious to not like, sometimes this is going to be maybe a little bit too much information, but making sure our little butt cracks are not hanging out. This is something that happens at work all the time, and
it's part of the job almost. Yeah.
It is part of the job. So we're just really making sure that it's not happening on live. TV. So, but yeah, we do think about that stuff maybe a little bit more so now than we used to. We always say that we're really happy there's no volume on the live feed, so you can't hear us like
Yeah.
swearing when the otters are locking us in habitats and stuff like that. But yeah, it has changed. Maybe the way that we look at certain situations and stuff like that, and we are always conscious of what we're doing and the way that things look, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It does take a little bit more energy on our part, but yeah, it has changed some things, and it's been positive in a lot of ways too, because like I said, we can now watch the animals a lot easier, and also get to share them with you guys, which is part of the whole part of the whole deal.
No, thank you for that information. I think it's very valuable that we know how much effort your trainers actually put in. And I'm just going to quickly
to not flashing our butt cracks to you guys on a daily basis.
We also try to look after that as well in terms of the camera controls.
Try to move the camera away from
the butt
cracks.
There's a seagull on that side there.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But I'm just going to very quickly say in relation to that right after that, one of the Wigglers actually asked us to wish all of you and your trainers a happy New Year's and thank you for everything that you do for us. So we just wanted to, just wanted to quickly extend that to yourself and that. But we can move on to the next question.
Thank you guys.
I'm pretty sure that covered it. There was another question that kind of did the follow-up of that, which was asking of what do the trainers and staff think of the moderators?
Oh, I mean, we are, we're very, appreciative of you guys and the things that you guys do. We're maybe a little bit distant from some of these things at times because we just let the moderators, deal with everything. Because we're like, we don't have time. We don't have time for that kind of stuff. So I think that in that way, like, really happy to have the moderators so that we don't have to constantly be monitoring the situation. But yeah, no, I mean, like overall it's been really great. I mean, some trainers like it more than others, but I think it's important to remember like the purpose that this all serves. Like, we get to share the animals with you guys in a way that wouldn't be possible, especially given like the pandemic. So
absolutely,
it's really, I think it's a really great thing to have. So
it's the education and the awareness of. I mean, I didn't even consider an otter. I didn't even know big otters existed besides the movies and that. I forget what it's called, but now it's like my top cutest animals on the planet. So and you learn so much about them, just from watching their behavior and everything. So it's super cool, and I hope everybody gets the opportunity to see them in the wild at some point too, because that's a really wild experience. I mean, you're just like watching these guys like sitting around scratching themselves and stuff. Like, it's not an animal, I guess. Until I saw one in the wild, I didn't really believe it. It was kind of like a unicorn. Like, how could this thing possibly exist out in the ocean? But it does. It's really interesting. A question related still to the trainers, and I feel this is a very good question to ask in terms from an education perspective. But have the trainers ever gotten into the waters and animals? And if not, is there a specific reason?
So specifically as it pertains to otters, there are 2 people that I know of that have fallen in with the otters before. But it is not intentional.
Shame.
I was not there for either of these times, but and it is not actually somebody who neither of these people actually still works with the I mean, we don't get in the water with the otters for a few reasons. A, there's not really a purpose to it. Now we have gotten in with like when Joey was first going into these 2 large exhibits, we would actually get in the water with him just to make sure that he was doing fine. But there's not a reason for it. There's a lot of risks, mainly for us. These guys are huge, and they are much better swimmers than we are, and they're much stronger than we are. So like there's there is a danger there, and there's a danger when working with any animal at all.
Yes.
So there's nothing to be gained by swimming with them. It's not like we can't raft with there's
Yes.
nothing to be gained outside of like selfish reasons.
There's
of
no
just wanting
enrichment
to
value
play
to
with them.
be added to the otter.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it would be for the otter.
Yeah, for them.
Like, it's not worth it, So yeah, it's there's just no reason really to do it, and yeah, there is a danger factor there. There are other animals at the aquarium that we do get in the water with from time to time. The harbor seals, whenever we clean the habitat, we swim with the harbor seals, and that's mainly just because the harbor seals by nature just leave us alone, and so there's not really like a risk there, and it's just easier than taking them out of the habitat. They can just swim around, carry on with their little lives while we clean up all their little doo-doos on the bottom of the pools and stuff. And some other animals like our belugas and things like that. When we had like research projects,
Yes.
that required us to be in the water,
Yes.
then we would get in the water with them. But essentially, yeah, there's not a lot to be gained except for that, as a trainer, we think it would be fun, but that's not a reason to do it necessarily.
Absolutely.
Plus, this water is cold, guys.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Like, it's January. Like, this water is probably sitting at about 10-11 degrees Celsius. I don't want any part of this. Like, no thank you. So yeah,
I just got a vision in my mind of if you ever swim with the otters, of just Taz trying to groom one of you while you're trying to swim. Just like ooh.
What's up with this? Sometimes with the penguins, they try to groom us, and they are looking at us like, "What the hell is wrong with your guys' feathers? Like, what is up?" So
it's so stringy.
Like that, like, oh my goodness, your fur coat is a disaster. Let me get in there and fix that for you.
It's patchy, it's thin, it's got nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Why is there so much on your head and nothing else anywhere else? This is ridiculous.
Oh gosh, that was funny. Okay.
We are actually gonna wind down now. We're actually at about an hour into this, which we normally try to keep them about an hour because people have
lives,
things to do.
Yeah, they've got more Joey feed to watch.
Yes.
They need to get back to watching the
Absolutely.
The
so I think we'll round it off with
so
2 questions
let
from.
me just.
Yeah.
You have more questions?
No. So I was gonna say we'll just round it off
okay.
with 2 questions, one from your side, one from my side, and then we'll round it off there.
Oh, I was just gonna do the shameless promotion.
Oh, we're definitely getting into that.
Channel.
No, definitely we can go straight into that actually.
Well, so the shameless promotion. If anyone has Disney Plus or has access to Nat Geo, look up the Alaska Animal Rescue and for the episode called The Naughty Otter to see Taz as a baby, and you'll actually get to see KP. There's also a cameo in there at the end by Sean.
Yes.
So definitely check that out.
Little
get to
Easter
see
eggs.
How wild Taz was, even as a child.
He was a wild child for sure.
Yes.
And for anyone who still has some more questions after we wind this down, don't forget to hop over to KP's Twitch channel. She is Wine and Wins on Twitch. She'll probably still be answering more questions.
Yeah, I'll answer some questions for a while, and then we'll probably try to convert some of you guys to gamers and play a little game later or something.
Gamers and wine drinkers.
When is your just to go on that? When is your next Automatopoeia?
Automatopoeia. So I think we'll probably do that on Monday. So next Monday. So a week from today, I'm planning another Automatopoeia. That was super fun.
Yes.
We had a good time with it, and I've got some more clips, so I'm gonna have to put some stuff together and get some stuff going. But that's I think what I'm gonna plan to do that. some of those clips are slowly making their way onto the YouTube channel, so you can look for some of from the last episode. But yeah, so look for that a week from today, 11 a.m.
Yes.
Automatopia.
Which I'm actually loving that you break it up on the YouTube channel as well, because then you're actually doing question by question. So I would actually recommend following it because you learn a lot there.
It's also like we could put it as one giant video, but I'm like, people don't have time to sit down and watch.
We want the questions. We want the questions.
And I do shameless promotion too. I did have put some Otter merch up in my merch store, so if you guys want to check that out, I think it's pretty cute. We had some original artists do some Otter related merchandise, so that's available too. I think it's super cute. Just dropped this morning, so
I'm getting alarm bells
I
here.
I have to make this mention from
yes.
the Moderators.
Is that Aaron?
I want you to know about it's a mobile game, right? Rako Kabe, which Rako in Japanese, if anyone doesn't know, is otter.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's a little mobile game.
Oh, really?
Where you just have these little cute otters.
It's actually very cute.
I haven't looked too much into it. But
I can
everybody is definitely
link it in the Discord or your Discord and like tag me in it or something, because I'll definitely check it out.
I'll definitely post it because it's somewhat surprisingly accurate to Otter characters of them rolling and jackhammering. It's a very cute game. It's not so much of a engaging that you have to always tap on it. You wait for the otters to come there, you name them, you play with them, and then it's. But yeah, I think Aaron will love that. We have a whole channel here where they're just posting screenshots of it.
I need a good time waster. So yeah, that sounds like a perfect thing. Yeah. So I'll check it out for sure.
Before we have to leave, I'll have to do another shameless plug in reverse. For those that have been watching on the live stream as well, this entire conversation has been hosted by the MMRC Discord. So please, if you haven't joined yet, besides joining KP's Discord, which you absolutely must, please, and please also join the Marine Mammal Rescue Center's Discord, because we have a lot of fan art there as well, a lot of different engagements that go beyond just the Otter stream. So you'd be doing us a solid if you've been watching on streams or that, and also join this channel. But right now, for those that have been watching, you can go carry on watching the Otters, please, or join KP on her stream if you want to carry on asking questions for a bit. And as you said, possibly we can convince them to become gamers as well. At this point,
we're gonna convert them, JJ, slowly.
Yes, I'm just waiting for you to get a Switch and download something like Animal Crossing. I
have a Switch.
Wow! Then please.
What kind of gamer do you think I am? I have a Switch.
Okay.
I've got it all.
Oh well, then same. Yeah.
I have Animal Crossing. I used to be pretty big into it. I do.
Okay. I need to join you on there.
All right.
No, but
we'll be Animal Crossing friends.
Yes.
Right.
Well, thank you again, KP, for joining us for another live Q&A. We'll see if there's anything that pops up, if we do any other events. I do believe there is another Q&A coming up with JJ and Jen the giraffe.
And Aaron,
on Thursday. Oh, and Aaron? Oh,
yeah. So So she'll be joining, so that'll happen at 10 a.m. Joey's time on Thursday. And we'll be discussing other not Otter-related items, of course, as well. But as always, we'd like to thank you for joining us for this event. It's been a very nice event.
Thank you guys so much. It's great again. And I hope...
we hope to chat to you soon.
You guys again soon.
Yes. Thank you very much, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one. See you on the other side.
The Otter side, yes.
All right, so event. Oh shoot! What time was the event? Was it also going to be at 11 a.m. on Thursday?
No. Just to tell everyone that's still here, the event is going to be at 10 a.m. So it's going to be an hour earlier than this. 10 a.m. And we're going to be discussing. Obviously, as with this is a Marine Mammals Rescue Center, but we're going to be covering a lot of topics in relating, just to give you a sneak peek in relations to aquariums, zoos, and other care facilities, and how to know which ones to visit and which ones to support, and so on. So that's what we're going to be lightly covering on Thursday. So if you're interested in that, you want to know that you've been going to the right place, or if you've planned to travel in the future and visit some of these locations, please join us. And Jen, who is, as you know, a avid zookeeper, will be answering a lot of questions on stream as well. So please join us on that day. And I think, yeah, sorry folks, I don't know if it has been done. Let me just take a look. We'll post, I think it's already been done. Oh, sorry, I haven't been on to live chat, but I think the channel's already been posted for her Twitch. Yeah, it has been. So go on live stream channel if you haven't. If you've been just listening here, Wines and Wins Twitch has been posted on her channel, on the live stream channel. Oh, yes, sorry. It will actually just be me and Jen. Cheers, everyone.